Hi Gemini, welcome to February. This is Teresa from Tarot by T, and I'm calling in some good energy for your next reading. Find out what's going on in February for love for Gemini. So thank you. Before I start the reading, I want to say thank you for those of you who've liked my channel and those who've taken the time out to comment, and especially those who've ordered readings. I've really enjoyed working with you all. And if you want to book a reading, there's a link in the description that will take you to my website and we can get you on the schedule. So let's see what's happening for Gemini for the month of February. We have a new moon eclipse, powerful new moon on the 15th. And this is favored, it's sextile Uranus and it's conjunct Mercury. So this is a time to get your message out there. You know, Gemini is like your masters of communication. You've got this new moon now that you can start something new. And it will have a powerful new beginning that will last about 6 months. So let's see, what does Gemini need to know about love and relationship for the month of February? And we've got Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's. And it's the Chinese New Year. We've got a lot of stuff going on in the middle of the month. On the 16th, we start the year of the dog. So, what's Gemini? What does Gemini need to know about love for the month of February? Okay, let's see what we've got. And I'm using the Rider-Waite deck, for those of you who are wondering. And this was the first deck I ever, that was purchased, it was given to me as a gift when I was a teenager. My first tarot deck. Okay, King of Swords, the Eight of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, the Page of Swords, the Nine of Cups, the Four of Wands, the Four of Cups, the High Priestess, the Temperance, and the Fool. Interesting. Okay, cool. Good. These are interesting cards. Okay. So you start the month off with the King of Swords and the Eight of Pentacles. So you're starting the month off with the King of Swords energy. This relates to air signs, so this could even represent you. It could also represent an authority figure. Sometimes the King of Swords can be an older person who's an authority figure that you may feel, and if it's a partner, you may feel like your partner's being a little bit harsh with you. And maybe judgmental. Maybe you're having to explain yourself, or they might be checking up on you all the time. The other way, you know, especially since you have the Eight of Pentacles, like you might be working on a career goal and you feel like the tests have been grueling, or that, you know, you've been going through the mill. Someone's putting you through the mill in this process. The other thing that this can represent is you might be involved with someone who could be an air sign, but it could also be someone who you feel like they lack compassion. They're all logic and no heart. And you're trying to figure out, you know, what do I want? Do I want to be in this relationship? You're trying to separate what's real from what's not real with the King of Swords. And in a relationship situation, if you're trying to make a decision, it's saying that you need to use your head, not your heart, when you're making this decision. Use logic, use facts. So like make lists, you know, pros and cons. Think about what's really there, not what you want to be there, or what you're imagining. So, because the King of Swords is like he's using his sword to cut through the BS, you know. So if someone's been telling you things is what they're saying is true. You know, what's real? What's not real? What is my imagination? What am I really dealing with here? And that's how you're going to make decisions. You may also be, with the Eight of Pentacles, you might be thinking of taking a different direction with your career. The Eight of Pentacles, and you might be at the beginning stages right now, because this is the card of the Apprentice. So for some of you, you might have switched careers, or you might be working toward a different career goal, or a different path within your career, and you might be learning new things, and it may feel like you feel like, well, when am I going to start making some money? You know, I'm doing all this work. it will come. You just have to give it time. Just learn. You're learning now, and you're practicing. You're, learning the ropes. You're learning the path. So just stick with the path, and it will profit. You'll benefit by this new beginning later on, because you have this Four of Wands here too, and Nine of Cups. I mean, you've got good cards in terms of manifestation, of creating something stable and solid. Now, in the past, you have this Ace of Cups. So you may have begun a new relationship, or for some of you who haven't been in a relationship, you might have started a new one. Or you might have, for those who have been in a relationship, you may have started a new way of loving. Like you might have decided to have a rebirth within a current relationship. Like, okay, let's start over. Let's try relating to each other in a new way. You might be trying to express your love in a healthy way, in a different way. The Ace of Cups can also mean a new creative project that you're involved in. That's bringing you, that you're really feeling passionate about. Because the love is new beginnings. The Ace of Cups, aces are always new beginnings. And this is in the past, so you might have started something new recently, whether it's career or relationship. But it's something that you feel passionate about. You feel good about. You're utilizing your creativity in this new path. And for some of you, it could be like a job that you love. You're really loving it. For others, it could be a new relationship, a new romance. The Page of Swords is a recent influence. And that could be, sometimes that comes up when there's gossip or spying. You may feel that, if you're on a job situation, you have to be careful of gossip. You're being watched. Maybe you feel, or maybe it's something that you have to really check into every detail. Maybe you're doing work that's very detailed. Maybe you're doing work where you have to check up on the details. But you want to watch out for gossip. You don't want to get involved in office gossip, because that can hurt you. And you don't want to, make sure you watch what you say, because this is a card of communication. And sometimes, with the Page of Swords, you don't want to say something that's going to wind up being repeated, in the wrong way to an authority figure, and that. So watch what you're saying, watch who you're talking to, make sure that whoever you're talking to is not the office gossip, because, Geminis love to talk, and sometimes you forget, and you just run your mouth, and then you're like, oh, I shouldn't have said that, so this is a card of careful communication. So be careful with communication. Be careful what you say, when you say it, who you say it to. The other thing that this could be is if you've recently met someone, you may want to check into that person, find out more about them. Do some background checking, talk to people like, this guy, or this girl, what do you know about them? Because it's a card of looking deeply into things, looking more carefully at things. Don't just fall head over heels, and don't, you have to pay attention to the details with this card. Sometimes it could also represent a challenging lover, that you need to have a conversation with someone, or maybe you've had a conversation with someone that was a little bit challenging. Like if someone wasn't acting right and you needed to have a talk with them. But that was in the past, so I think you're moving into a positive energy in the future, because you have the Nine of Cups here and the Four of Wands. The Nine of Cups is a wish fulfillment card. So whatever you're trying to achieve with this new beginning, you are going to achieve success. And it's going to put you on a brand new path. You're on a new adventure in February. But it's already, I feel like it's already started. It started the month before. But you're going to start to see, you're going to get more deeply involved in February. Like if it was on hold, if things were kind of stagnant, they're going to start to move in February. Because Nine of Cups is a great card to have in the reading. It usually means that you're going to get what you want. So for the month of February, if you're focused on love, or you're focused on career success, you're going to get, your wishes will be fulfilled. If you're signing any contracts, you want to check all the details. You want to make sure that, you understand what's being asked of you. Or if someone's telling you something, you want to make sure that the information is correct, that it's not just gossip. So that's another thing with this. Sometimes you hear things and it may not be true. So you just want to check into things. That's when I see this Page of Swords. Check deeply. Go under the surface. Look at things carefully. But other than that, you have a great future coming. The Four of Wands is success and stability and celebration. Sometimes it can mean marriage in some relationships. So For some of you, you might be planning a commitment or a marriage. For others, it could just mean a successful period where like you're building something and you achieve your goal. You know, you're building something solid and stable. Now, on the staff here, this card is falling in your negative thinking area or your psychological blocks. The Four of Cups relates to someone who's feeling bored, you know, and dissatisfied with what you're getting. Like you feel like you're not being valued for the work that you do, or you haven't been. Maybe this is what spurred you to, you know, start this new beginning. But this is a card of boredom and dissatisfaction. Like, I'm not happy, but I'm not really ready to change it. So in a relationship, you might be a little bit bored and you might be looking, well, maybe I should move on to somebody new. Or it could be even a career. Like maybe I should start looking for another job or another career path. You know, you're contemplating. But you're not acting. You're just thinking about it. And here, a cup is being offered to you. Something comes out of the cloud. So somebody's offering you either their love in a relationship, but you're kind of on the fence with it. Like, I don't know how I feel about this person. You know, like with this Page of Swords, like there might be some issues that you're not happy with. And you're not sure if you want to commit. Or if it's a career situation, maybe you want to look deeper, make sure that whatever they're promising you, they're going to deliver. Either way, there are things going on behind the scenes. The High Priestess here. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean negative, but it does mean that you don't have all the information, so you need to check deeper. In a relationship, though, this would represent your partner, how they feel about the situation. So the partner that you're involved in, you might be involved with someone who's very spiritual, very intuitive, or it could be that you think very highly. They think very highly of you. They see you as someone who has, who's very spiritual and very has high, good values. But you might be dealing with someone who's a little bit on the secretive side, like you have to pull things out of them. They don't always communicate. Maybe that's the challenge you're having too, communication. You know, they're not telling you, you know, you want them to, you're a communicator. Geminis have no problem with communication, but not everybody else is like that. Some people, you know, they don't know how to communicate, or they're not comfortable sharing their feelings. So you might need to pull things out of them. You might need to talk to them and say, hey, you know, what are you thinking about this relationship? How do you feel? This is, and this is also a card of trusting your intuition. So if you're getting a gut feeling about something, like if someone's presenting you with an opportunity, trust your intuition. I think for the most part, it's going to be a good new beginning. I don't think it's negative, but you just need to check all the details before you sign on the dotted line. And trust your gut. Now, Temperance card. This is a card of balance. So this is in your wish fulfillment sector. So if you're in a relationship, you might have to meet the person halfway. You have basic compatibility. This is a card of two people who are compatible. But you both have your own needs, and you know, there might have been a lack of balance in the relationship where one person's needs were getting met and the other person wasn't. And that could be you. Maybe you feel like, well, I'm always doing things for this person, but you know, what about me? I'm not being valued. I feel like I'm being taken for granted. So with the Temperance card, you may have to have that conversation so that you could bring balance back to a relationship. So that, you know, you meet each other halfway. You have to compromise. Like the other person has to consider your needs. You have to consider theirs, you know. It can't always be one-sided. It can't always be their way, or it can't always be your way. You know, you have to kind of meet each other in the middle. And this could also, you know, this is a card of negotiation, of discussion, you know, communication. And that's going to be important with this new moon, because the new moon is conjunct Mercury. It's your planet, your ruling planet. So it's time to communicate in a relationship. It's time to talk about what you need so that you can get what you need. This is how you're going to get your wish fulfilled. You're going to communicate. And Geminis know how to communicate. You know, this is another thing about this card I want to bring up. This is also a card of if you have to communicate something difficult at the new moon, it's not so much what you say, but how you say it. So watch your tone when you're communicating, because with this King of Swords in the center, you might be coming across as too harsh in your communication, you know, and that person may perceive you as being sarcastic or aloof or unapproachable, intimidating. So you want to just soften your delivery. That's the thing that I'm getting with these two cards here, especially since Jupiter is squaring the new moon. So Jupiter, you know, it increases whatever it touches. So you may go over the top in your communication style. So you want to just kind of calm yourself down. You know, don't just tame yourself when you're communicating. Try not to go over the top with communication. But other than that, you have the Fool here. The Fool is a card of a brand new beginning, wiping the slate clean, starting over. So if you've had problems in a relationship, you could start over and have a new beginning within a current relationship. If you're not in a relationship, you have the opportunity for this brand new beginning that's going to be different than anything you've ever experienced. And if it's a career situation too, the same thing. It's like, I'm on this new adventure. I'm at this new chapter, because this is the zero. You know, the Fool is at it's at the beginning of it's the first card of the major arcana. It's 0. Sometimes it falls at the beginning, sometimes it falls at the end. It doesn't really have, it's kind of like a free-floating energy. It represents divinity, actually. The divine state before creation. It represents potentiality. So you have the potential to create anything in February. You have this new moon energy. You can create anything you want. It could be totally different than anything you've ever experienced. It's a new adventure, and it can bring you what you want: stability and success and love. But you have to first do a lot of thinking and know what you want and work slowly toward your goal, and, you know, just don't go to extremes, and you can get there. Let me look at and if this is a career situation, the Temperance can represent that you are the perfect person for the job. It could also represent that you're the perfect partner in a relation, like the two of you are very compatible. It's high level of compatibility. You just need to learn how to compromise. So for you, the new moon is falling in your 9th house, and Uranus is favoring this new beginning from the 11th house. So you could be forming new partnerships with, well, the 9th house has to do with higher education, spirituality, travel, long distance travel. So for some of you, you might be connecting, you might have a new relationship with someone who's of a different culture than you. So you have to like enlarge your scope of, you know, to incorporate this person's concepts and ideas. It's not like this girl next door. You're not meeting the guy next door or the girl next door. You're meeting someone who's very different. It can also, with Jupiter in your 6th house, you have to be careful of overwork, because Jupiter's squaring this new moon. The 9th house could also be education in terms of learning new skills, learning new things, going back to school. You could be teaching or learning. Maybe you're the teacher, maybe you're the student. But whatever it is, it's leading you toward a goal. It's a new beginning, and it may bring you to a new perspective. You could be joining a new group that deals with spirituality, because the 9th house is also spirituality, religion. Not so much, it can be dogmatic religion, but it could also be different types of spirituality. The 11th house has to do with groups that you belong to, groups that are wanting to change the world for the better. So you could be doing social work where you're helping society in some way. So you could be joining a new group or a new team that's wanting to help society. And you could be working with maybe institutions of learning, education. You're partnering with you know, colleges or universities, because it's higher education. The only thing with Jupiter squaring everything, you want to make sure you're not overworking, because Jupiter's in your 6th house. Now the 6th house, having Jupiter in your 6th house is great for getting along with coworkers. You're dealing with, you know, you're feeling more optimistic about your employment energy. But you may have a tendency to overwork or overdo. So you want to just, you know, give work-life balance, have that work-life balance. And Venus is actually sextile Saturn during this time. So whatever you're starting will eventually bring more love and more money to you. And you're building a path that is going to be stable. If you're in a relationship, it could even be, there could be an age difference. If you start something new at this new moon, it's possible that there's an age difference, like a person might be very, like, younger or older, where one person is more like the parent to the other, like you're giving guidance to the younger person. If you're the older person, you're the parent, you're giving guidance. If you're the younger person, you're receiving wisdom from your partner. You know, they're like the more experienced person, and they're kind of guiding you or mentoring you. So it looks exciting. New beginnings, new adventure for you. And I think it's going to be something that's going to be successful and stable. And you're going to come out of this feeling of discontent and boredom. You are ready for adventure. And you can have that with this new moon. Because it's in Aquarius. It's, you know, Aquarians are about cutting edge, technology, you know, thinking out of the box. Uranus is sextile the new moon. So if you feel like you need to break free from something, this is going to bring a breath of fresh air to your life. And it may even change your thinking in some way. Someone, you know, if you're meeting someone from a different culture, it's going to broaden your the way you see things in life, you know, so that you might be seeing things through a different lens, you know, you're seeing things from a different perspective or a different angle. But in any case, it looks exciting, Gemini. So enjoy February. Happy Valentine's. And I hope this reading was a help to you. I wish you luck and love and many happy things. Happy New Year. Happy Chinese New Year. Happy Valentine's. And I will talk to you next month. Okay, bye now.